Well done.
I live alone. I'm living on my daughter's barn. So I'm by myself. They come and feed me now and then, bring me groceries.
Pat, you're in
I'm well taken
Reading.
care of.
You're in Reading in the UK. Is this where you normally live, or are you happen to
That's
be
my
here?
home.
Do live
Yeah, I'll
here?
show you. I'll just pan them a little bit.
Yeah. Oh,
I
lovely.
don't know if you can
Oh,
see
cool.
it.
Yeah.
It is cool.
No, I didn't know because you said you were from Alaska. I didn't know if you
I
were.
am from Alaska. I have 2 daughters who live in the UK, married to Brits. And they said, Mother, you're getting up there. Come on over and stay. So I stay for 6 months and go home. Then I stay for 6 months because I'm not a resident. So,
Ah, okay.
and I'm not illegal. Of course, I'm not going to be able to go anyplace, right?
Right.
Anyway,
Yeah. Oh, we've got Susan Mogert.
Hi,
Yeah.
Susan.
Hi there.
Hi.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I can
Yes.
hear.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. It's
So we got
really,
2 Susans in the room.
Oh, there is?
Yeah.
Susan Lowe, yeah.
Where's the
So
other
how are
Susan?
you, Susan Moga?
Well, this is the first rainy day we've had in a long time, so pretty good, all right. It's really nice to see so many of you
Yeah.
and talk to you. It's a great idea.
Mhm.
Nice. So nice.
Good. And you managed to get on here as well. That was
Very
in the-
similar to what Donna described, so I'm not going to repeat it. But I am very proud because in the state of Washington in the US here, we have really, the governor has done a bang up job, and he's really, the country is kind of looking to us. But we don't wear a lot of masks outside, but there are a lot of restrictions. And I've chosen not to go in stores, but you can. But people are wearing masks and gloves in the stores. And Seattle, which is about an hour north, has most of the problem, but some of it seeped down to here. But I don't want to know about it, I just take care of myself, and
yeah.
I'll
Do you
show
watch
a
the
little bit.
news? Does everybody watch the news?
I don't like to watch the news.
I've
2
been,
minutes and off.
I've been fascinated by Trump, whom I didn't vote for, obviously, but by Trump's
sorry.
news conferences. I watch them almost
Oh, I
from
can't.
beginning to end because it's such an interesting set of phenomena. I think it's important to understand what he's doing and what's going on. So even when my kids call during those conferences, I say, I can't talk to you now. I'll talk to you later.
Does Tom have to
It's
take
like
your blood
taking
pressure
poison.
again?
Tom goes off in another corner.
Team Tom.
Donna, are you in Boston? Where are you?
Me?
Yeah.
I'm in West Hartford, Connecticut,
Oh, okay.
in places that even the governor of Massachusetts doesn't recognize Connecticut as one of his border states. We're totally forgotten.
I have a friend who lives around there, Donna, actually. So I've traveled to your area, not a lot of time.
We're
What are you
usually from New York to Boston stop for lunch here.
I will do that sometime. I need to go see.
Okay, you've got a permanent invitation.
Are you from
Throwing
New
ours
York?
out again.
Amy, are you from New York?
No, I live north of Boston. I live on the North
okay.
Shore. Charlie Baker, our governor, lives down the street from me, actually.
No,
Huh.
Yeah, so.
I'm from New York originally.
It's like unbelievable how bad things have gotten with the hospitals and all in Boston. I grew up in Newton.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I just know that it's just it's tragic.
We are the school, so that's the reason why he finally closed the schools for the rest of the year, because our area is hit like the 4th hardest. Well, we have a lot of colleges and universities in this town, and there was a lot of travel going on, obviously, with both that and companies, corporations prior to all of this really. So, you know, before people started putting in place any measures, she hasn't been in school since March 12th.
Mhm.
And we still have in MIT, I closed the labs on March 16th. But you know, they're still struggling. The healthcare workers around here are keeping up. Not as much as New York City, obviously. But yeah, so we're not going back, and I'm only just now having conversations about how what we need to do when we do kind of start to slowly reopen, go back into labs and let people do some work. And I'm having to think about everything completely differently. Just, you know, like single-use safety glasses to, are we going to have enough gloves? Because we've had to give a lot of that away to the hospitals and stuff. A lot of the labs just gave what they had to local hospitals. So I have to like go in and slowly start taking stock of what we have and will we have enough to even let people work, and how long is it going to take to get any, all these, like, it's just thinking about things completely differently and having to schedule people. I'm going to have to split the lab into zones so we can continue social distancing. And one of the person who supports me for the lab, she was just like, I wasn't even thinking about continuing to social distance. And I'm like, yeah, and we're going to have to, because if we don't, we're going to have to do this all over again.
Do you have online education for the kids?
No. So,
We have it, yeah, here.
no,
I don't know how they do it, probably like this, but they're doing the computers with the kids because the schools are closed all year here. So,
they didn't have it in place. And so if they, you know, the older kids had it, the higher grades had it because they already have the Google Learning accounts. So they were already submitting work that way, but the lower grades,
they don't have it.
they,
It's
and
nice that they're bringing the lunches to the kids. I was out walking and I saw them bring in the school buses, bringing the lunches to the little children. And I
Oh,
just
nice.
started to cry. I
That's
just thought how wonderful, you know, that they're able to do this because there's like a third unemployment here. A third of the people are unemployed in Seattle. And it's very bad. I'm very concerned about the economic situation and of course our incredible president, who I also obviously haven't voted for. He's trying, but you know, I wish we had somebody else in the White House. I would feel much more secure.
I feel the same about the UK.
Yes.
Luckily, we have good leadership on the web Facebook site.
right.
Right.
Keeps me going.
You're right. You're right, Donna.
Eugene, how are you doing?
Today was my first lesson, which I had to teach online. We have home-based learning for 6 months. Not for everyone, but I teach in a polytechnic. So for polytechnics, it's 6 months. And today was my first class. Of course, I'm not very good at tech stuff. So obviously there were a lot of hiccups, but I managed. I realized you have to have a plan B all the time when you do this online. Otherwise, you get stuck all the time. So you have to just quickly think of something else. And believe it or not, I have not been out for 4.5 weeks now.
Oh my gosh.
I was actually traveling, so I had to have the experience of being on a plane for like 12 hours last month to come back. So obviously, and I was traveling with my mother who's 90 years old. So I was so frightened.
Where were
after
you?
that experience.
Where did
I
you
was in
travel?
Greece. I was in Greece.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but the rumor was that they were going to cancel all flights, so I had to come back earlier. Otherwise, I stayed on for another month. So, but the experience of being in a plane full of passengers was so horrible that I didn't go out. So I haven't been out for the past 4.5 weeks. But we actually have a sort of a lockdown now, and they are increasing the measures. So, like for example, only takeaway. You can only food that is takeaway can be sold. All the retail shops are closed. You can only go out alone. You cannot visit people who don't live in the same household as you. So if you're living apart from your parents, you cannot visit them. But my mother lives with me, so that's fine. Yeah, so actually I've been doing nothing except staying in the room and occasionally walking out. Oh, my mother likes to go out, so the compromise was that we go out every day in the car for half an hour without getting out of the car. So that's what I've been doing, nothing much.
Are they easing the restrictions there in Singapore then?
No, they have actually extended the duration for another month to June, because actually in Singapore it was okay, but it's getting worse and worse because we have a problem. We actually have our population is 5 million, but we actually have 1.5 foreigners, and a lot of the foreigners are in construction. So and actually this is a political problem as well. So I think a lot of people are divided on whose side they are on. So we also have our share of political issues. Basically, the foreign workers who work in construction are placed in dormitories of like 20 men in one room. And so that's how the virus spread. So every day we are getting more than 1,000 new cases. And that's a terrible situation. So the government has actually extended the lockdown for another month till June. Yeah.
Hi, Robin.
Hi.
Hi.
Nice to meet you.
You
I tried
too.
to get on with my PC. I couldn't. I had to get on with my phone. My PC's a Windows and it's wonky, but the phone worked because it's Apple.
That's good. Whereabouts are you, Robin?
I'm from San Diego, California,
Ah, okay.
and you know, we're doing the same thing as that poor guy in Singapore,
Mm-hmm.
and we're not as badly hit. So far, California's better than we're 5th or 6th in the States as far as cases and deaths go. So we're better off, a little better. And hopefully it'll stay that way. They were hoping to open up on May the 1st, but now it doesn't look that way.
Is anywhere in the States going to be opening up?
Oh, yes, some of them have opened up already. The whole middle is basically not that affected. All the Trump states, as luck would have it.
Yeah, I live in Texas, so if you're in a big city, you have Democrat, mayors and stuff, and they're locking down, but the state itself isn't locking down. And starting May 1st, the governor says that his orders are more important than the county orders. So the county can say you're locked down, but if he says you're not, you're not.
I know, it's very strange. I mean, Seattle, some of Seattle is opening up because they on the West Coast were the first to be hit, and they're coming out of it. Seattle, Oregon, San Francisco, it's coming south, basically. But they opened up our neighborhood parks yesterday.
So will they put roadblocks in place to stop people traveling from one state?
No. There's nothing like that.
If they open up in Seattle,
for sure.
they stop people moving back and forth?
Well, for a short time, the governor of Rhode Island started ordering, I think, the police to look at out-of-state license plates on cars, something, but stopped very quickly. It wouldn't work in the United States when, for the most part, there's a warrant of roads that connect one state to another. You wouldn't have enough police to monitor.
Yeah, no. They've closed the border in Tijuana,
Richard, come. In answer,
Sorry, I have to go.
there is no restriction on walking on the streets.
You have to go, Amy.
Yeah, I'll try to come back if I can.
Okay. All right.
Amy.
Bye.
Hi, Amy.
Bye. Nice seeing you all.
There's no
Bye,
restriction.
good seeing everybody.
Bye, Amy.
Bye.
There is no restriction walking on the streets. In fact, you're encouraged to get fresh air. They say that's good, but just avoid other people, stay away. And when I walk on the streets, I see a lot of people masked, a lot of people aren't. So,
quick, go to Waze. Quick, go to Waze. Quick.
Everything's closed down. So everything.
This is a very strange world out there because I traveled back from Belgium on Monday, and I used the ferry, so coming back from France to England, and it was just so strange. There was only 5 cars, and everyone was wearing masks and gloves, and it's just very surreal. And the roads were so quiet.
So you travelled this week?
Pardon?
You travelled this week?
Yes, I traveled back on Monday. So I went to Belgium just before the UK lockdown. Basically, just on that day, I traveled to Belgium. So I was in Belgium for nearly 4 weeks, and they're flattening the curve there. There's everything's going down. There's less infections, less people in intensive care, less deaths. So it's coming along, and hopefully, it's been extended until the 3rd of May, but hopefully after that things will start opening up shortly. And so I haven't been out in the UK yet to the supermarkets or anything, because I came back on Monday and I decided to self-isolate for at least a week just to be on the safe side. So I don't know what it's like here in town, how the supermarkets are or anything.
Where do you live, Vanessa?
It's going to be interesting.
Where in the UK do you live?
Pardon?
Where in the UK do you live?
I live in a little town called Bromsgrove. It's in Worcestershire, near Birmingham, so it's in the centre of England.
Oh, okay.
So with the shopping, I think you'll find that places like Tesco, Asda, Morrison's, they mark out, the space, and they allow people in at intervals, so that you're not going in. It's quite well managed, and some stores have got it,
Yeah, sounds like the same as in Belgium as well. It was the same. You had to queue outside. You had to take a trolley because that helps you keeping that distance. There were markings by the tills and arrows that you had to follow, so you could only go one way.
Yeah. Although people are, I say reckless. Some people don't care. They're walking through the supermarket, picking up their items, and they just walk near to you because they're just thinking. So, go the opposite direction.
Yeah, I have to say, I catch myself coming close to people as well from time to time. And I'm like, oh, no, sorry, I didn't mean to. But it's just, you don't think about it. You have to be very conscious.
And I heard you others just talking about masks. You just can't get any masks here. So
it's impossible. It's really hard.
Tell us to wear masks if you're not providing them. So
yeah, we have a mandatory mask order starting today. It's going to be announced today, and I haven't seen masks for months, so I don't.
Yeah,
my sister says she's sending me some, but who knows?
I ordered some on eBay, and it's been like 3 weeks, and it got lost somewhere. Maybe somebody stole them. I mean, but eBay always pays you back. So I don't know what else. But you can make your own mask. There's a really good website called CDC. Wait, I'll go get it.
Did y'all see the picture of that stupid Florida governor with the mask on sideways?
Yes. he put the elastic over his head rather than his ears.
Here it is.
In denial, saying, I don't know anything about this.
Oh, yeah.
For those of us who want to make their own mask, CDC, how to make your own face cover. And it's a person, an officer in the CDC, and it just shows you how to make your own mask, and it's the easiest thing in the world. So
it is, but you have to be able to breathe through it.
Right, and they talk about different materials that are better, cotton materials, muslin, polyesters, I mean, but it's a very good video. Even I could follow it, with the technical, do this, fold this, do this. It's very good. So anyway.
Okay, so what else should we talk about then, guys? Who's got a question or who wants to raise, something that they want to talk about?
Did anybody invite Marta to this talk?
Marta.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be great?
Darn. Anyway.
I noticed.
Down asleep right now.
I noticed that the interview that Sarah Wiseman did, that Catherine posted, she did an interview about her traveling and how she loves to travel. And she said that and the interviewer said, what do you miss when you're traveling away? And she said family, friend, the usual. And then she said the mushrooms at Cafe Dizengoff.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah.
Whoa, Cafe Dizengoff is the last name of the first mayor of Tel Aviv, who kind of was you should pardon the expression, the Donald Trump of Tel Aviv. Was a land developer and built houses, and then he became mayor. And there's a famous square in Tel Aviv named after him, and I guess a cafe in New Zealand that's named after him. I thought that was kind of funny.
Yeah.
So is Sarah Wiseman a resident of New Zealand or of
Yeah.
Sydney?
No, New
She
Zealand.
is a New Zealander.
Yeah.
She's a Kiwi.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
definitely is a
And
Kiwi.
New Zealand.
they are living, or they are in New Zealand right now, aren't they, Craig and Sarah?
Yes.
Yeah.
She has a
I have
great
been laughing at their
Instagram.
little videos that they've been making, her and Greg, on Instagram.
Yes,
So
yeah.
funny.
Yeah.
I think my
They're
favorite one
really
was
good.
the GPS one, where take the first ride and no.
Oh yeah.
That was hilarious. I thought that was brilliant.
Yeah. They haven't done
And
one for
especially
a
with
while.
the strong Kiwi accent, I thought it was just, it was brilliant. I loved it.
Yeah.
I
I
haven't
wish-
figured Instagram out
Yeah.
yet.
The interview that you posted with Marta about the theater, about the importance of theater and the work. I wish that since they seem in Australian theater, at least from my impression, they seem to have short runs, much shorter runs than England or the United States. I wish they would do is be able to have a stream, their last performance or after they close. It would be great if they could stream it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Those of us who've now this newfound interest in Australia, access to seeing it.
Yeah, I don't know about Australia, but here, our local theater did that with the performance that had to close. And there were a lot of union things they had to do to be able to do it.
Yeah, and I think it's quite nice because I think, here in the UK, I know the National Theatre in London, they stream, I don't think they stream live, but they record it and then it's shown in local cinemas. So, because I remember I went to see All About Eve, and then a couple of weeks later they showed it in the cinema right here in town as well. So they do record those, so you can see plays with people, you wouldn't have time to go to London or not.
Well, Weber has released all of his musicals.
Oh, that's cool.
On YouTube.
Yeah.
So Phantom of the Opera was on. It was wonderful. Just wonderful.
Yeah.
The Royal Opera House is doing that as well. You can see
My
ballets
husband's,
and operas.
watching opera. The Metropolitan is doing some streaming.
Yep. There's Broadway HD also, which is good. There's all kinds
And
of
Marquee
stuff like that.
TV is a streaming service with ballet and opera and plays.
There's almost too much to watch.
Yeah,
What was the one
there's
with the
so much
ballet?
that you can see now. You can
Marquee
see
TV.
free ballet, free opera, free musicals, and it's trying to choose what's, finding the time to watch it all.
And the DIY on YouTube is amazing. You can learn how to make anything. Besides
I'm
masks.
a bit worried
You were-
about the
you were
future.
talking
I
masks.
repaired my Keurig watching.
I actually made this
Nice.
mask just by hand.
Cool.
I used the pattern, and then so I've got 2 layers of cotton. I had an old unused dog bandana, of course, around my house, and then so this, and then what I do is I looked it up, and I put a layer of a cutout from a vacuum cleaner bag. They did this. There was this bacteria they tested against in that N95 mask was like 97% effective, and a vacuum cleaner bag was like 95% effective. And then I do an extra layer of cotton. So this, I wash everything, but this I can switch out. Anyhow, it was a little crude, but it stays on, and I got 4 layers of protection.
Yeah. No, I can't sew to save my life. So no.
Well, it's pretty crude, but it stays on. So.
That's cool.
Okay, so Gail,
Yes.
how is the situation where you are?
Well, on Sunday, they started easing restrictions. People started to go back to work. Not everybody, you still have to keep the 2 meters between everybody. They have a supply. I was in the office today for the first time since March 15th, and they have a supply of surgical masks. And when you come in, they take your temperature. But there was only like a handful of people in the office. And my friends who were there said, we don't even know why we're here. We can work from home. There's nothing for us to do here. I work in tourism. And right now, there are no groups. We have no idea when tourism will begin again. We're hoping maybe this fall, September, October, but there's no guarantee of that. I work from home, and I'm just working on next year's groups and trying to, reduce prices and encourage the groups to come this year. But it's so uncertain here in tourism. We have no idea when it's going to pick up.
Yeah, they
But,
canceled all the
next
cruises.
week, we
They
have.
Have you ever booked to Alaska, Gail?
No, we just do incoming tours to Israel.
Oh, I see. Okay. Because my
And
son
so-
used to work they've canceled all the cruises
Yeah.
on one line going to Alaska.
Wow.
Yeah.
So anyway, we have holidays
It's a
again.
big business up there.
We have Memorial Day for the soldiers and Independence Day, and they're going to lock down the country again for 24, 48 hours. It seems to be helping, but my concern is there's a second wave coming. And let's to stay smart and be smart. So I won't be going into the office to work anytime soon.
And where are you, Gail?
Jerusalem.
Oh my. Let's see.
The
Eugene
question for you,
Clark.
Gail,
Yes,
We're
Donna.
in Jerusalem, right? Wow.
the question for you really is this agreement between Bibi and Gantz going to work and avoid a fourth election? The only other country in the Middle East that was on its third try to form a government was Iraq. And Iraq seems to have succeeded. I'm not sure that this attempt will succeed.
We have 36 ministers. The whole government is a joke.
Potentially. You may have more and you may have nothing.
And nobody agrees on anything.
Yeah, it's not clear this is going to work.
No. Wait and see. But it's a joke.
On the Israeli political system, I'll be giving them on Israeli elections forever.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it was either this or go to the polls once more for the fourth time.
You may have to. You may have to. The easiest way to have avoided something, but that would take somebody who, like a Lieberman who can stick a knife into Bibi, would be to suspend the basic law that has all these dates, 30 days to do that, 21 days to do this, 21. If they suspended that, you could have a parliament that was opposed to Bibi. And that could be tough. Yeah.
You gotta get Bibi out.
Yeah. That's not going to be,
No,
hasn't
it's
happened
not easy.
Are you an Israeli citizen? Gail?
Yes, I have dual citizenship. I also have American citizenship.
God, you get to vote in 2 depressing elections.
Well, to be honest, I haven't voted in the U.S. politics in many years.
Bye, Brenda.
Bye, Brenda.
Good night, Brenda.
Good night,
Hi,
Brenda.
Brenda.
Hey, Brenda.
Stay,
Bye, Brenda.
stay
Good night.
safe, everybody,
Yeah, you
and
too.
just love
Too.
a place to call home. Bye, guys.
Bye, Brenda.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for staying up. Bye-bye.
I will have to go in a moment as well because it's still working day and I've got a conference call in about 15 minutes, so I need to get ready for that.
Oh, really?
Be glad you have work to do.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, some people still have work to do.
One question I was
So
gonna ask
yeah.
you guys.
Pardon?
I want to hear from Nat. Hey, Nat.
Hey.
I was going to ask
It's all
you.
right. I'm just sitting back listening.
I'm just going to ask you quickly to maybe have a think. You know, we're doing our weekly post, Susan,
Yes.
Right.
weekly episode recap and chat. Well, obviously we're in the middle of season 6 now, the final season. So there's only 10 episodes as far as I remember in this season. So once that episode recap comes to an end, I need you to get your thinking caps on and think how we can do something else to engage everybody with.
You don't want to start again?
We have a different idea, a different.
I thought about it. I thought a lot about it.
I know you obviously the same topics and things will come up, but I just wondered if there's a different perspective, maybe from a certain character, or if people have got a suggestion of this theme that runs through this particular season. Can we come from a different angle just to try and
maybe we can come from an angle, when they refer to something historical or some place and talk about that. I don't know.
Yeah.
And are you addressing this to me right now?
I'm addressing it to
everybody.
everybody.
Okay, I didn't know. I wasn't sure. Okay.
Yeah, you join in as well. It's just this idea that once we finish the episode 10, what do we do next? To just
I've been
go back to
watching it.
season 1, episode 1, and do the same thing over again might be a little bit kind of, okay, yeah, we've done that. Switch off.
When I rewatch, I don't know if others would be interested. I look more at the fashion. I mean, I was watching this one episode and Reggie does this twirl, and I didn't notice the back of her dress had these beautiful ruffles. When you watch it the first time, and then just also paying attention. It's like the detail, the set, the what's in the rooms. I mean, things that the first time or two I totally missed because I was so into the story. So there's really a lot in every clip.
So what about from season 1, episode 1, the things that we missed first time round watching, or, like you say, the fashion, what did we miss? I'm just trying to think of some way of, I mean, I can certainly provide pictures, photos from each episode again, that's not a problem. But I just want a perspective, and it can include, a recap of some sort as well, but I just, something that kind of makes it a little bit, make people think and elicit a bit more kind of chat from people, really.
And I've watched it.
Go ahead.
Sorry. And I was going to say, I've watched it, I don't know how, I've lost count, and I still pick up on things that I haven't
Absolutely
seen or missed, or I might, look at that, or something or other. So it might be the way to go.
I'm really struck on how when you watch it, every detail, it's like, you're watching season 1 and then you can see at the very end, it's like, oh, that all led, it's like every detail kind of, you can see where there are hints that end up being in the conclusion, even in, as early as season 1. I mean, it's amazing because when they started writing it, they didn't know there'd be a, season, the whole thing. So.
Bevan Lee is an awesome writer.
Yeah.
Probably put all that
One of the things that occurred to me in the context of COVID-19 was that when we first episode 1 of season 1 or in the first couple of episodes, the way in which Sarah Nordman or Sarah Adams, whatever you want to call her, conducts herself is almost as if she's socially distancing from other people, certainly emotionally and honestly. And then the whole few early seasons where she's coming to love George and to be able to express herself sexually, all of this is coming out of social distancing. And now we're sort of forced into social distancing to save our lives. And in a way, it's the opposite of the message that we got from A Place to Call Home.
And I like the idea of what did you miss? What were certain things that you missed? It wouldn't have to be a summary. Did you want me to continue to do this? Or, I mean, I'm not clear.
Well, I'm just putting this out to everybody.
Putting it out.
Of course, I'm putting it to you as
Would it-
well, because you know that, you know, again, do we just start from season 1 again, episode 1, and do your recap, or do we want to include other ideas, whether anybody else wants to get involved, or, you know, we just carry on and like I say, go back. But I just think, you know, a different twist, a different something.
Yeah,
Well,
I
you're
think
getting many more people now.
Yeah, we've got a lot of new people who have just started the show, so there would be some new voices theoretically.
Yeah, absolutely.
True.
I mean,
The
we
other
could still-
issue is, do people want to, I'm sorry, Vanessa. Did I
That's all right,
interrupt?
Susan.
Okay. The other issue is too, do people want to go back and watch these episodes? Because sometimes I've gotten the feeling that people don't want to go back and watch it structurally. They want to watch it when they want to watch them. So how specific? I mean, do we go back to season 1 episode? And that's fine, season 1, episode 1, and, you know, let's go back to season 1 and what was it you missed? If you weren't here, what were your favorite parts? You know, we can make it general.
We could take it in chunks. My feeling about it is that we need some sort of structure, because I think we've done very well.
Right.
Weekly recap that
I'm happy with that.
People, you know, enjoy that continuity and know that they can come to the group and you know, and have a weekly chat about an episode. I just
What about
worry-
asking for people's favourite episodes or something and watching those ones and recapping those and finding out what we missed, rather than starting from one point and going to an end point?
Because everyone has different favorite episodes, and it would get very, I think it's a good idea. And within this structure of what was it you didn't notice? Well, right now I realize this was one of my favorite episodes. We could bring that in and why it was as part of what you didn't see last time, or
slightly
I
different.
just think a favorite, because we once did something like that and everybody had like a million different, you know, everybody had different episodes.
I mean, you know, I think if whoever's doing the post on a weekly basis, as long as that person or the team has got the idea in position that we know what we're doing, like for the next. Because look, how many weeks have we been doing this? We've been doing this.
Mark has joined us.
Hi, Mark.
Hi, Mark.
Mark.
Hello.
Yeah, we've been doing this for months and months and months. This has kept us going with this continuous people knowing that they can come and talk about an episode.
If they don't want to, they don't have to. If they want to,
you know,
it's very nice.
If we do something with some sort of structure for, you know, X number of weeks, months, then we're just going to start falling about and having posts about, you know, things that aren't perhaps, I mean, nice things, but maybe not drawing people back in to have a good chat about it. So that's why I'm just putting it out there, really, so that people maybe come and, you know, just have a chat.
Well, what we could do is the next meeting, we could talk about it more, or you and I could talk about it on a Zoom.
And we should probably open it up to the people who, you know, can't make Zoom, just ask a general thing to the group. Is there
Right.
something you'd like to see that we don't, you know, have?
Because we're summing up, you know, and this is coming to an end, and where would we want to go from here? That is a nice idea to just bring it out on the Facebook.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah, like I said, I'm just conscious that
When there's a good story, there are always unlimited numbers of questions you can ask that can form a structure to get a different kind of discussion going. And I think that's true. You know, what Susan that
I'm going to go, guys. So it was
Bye,
nice.
Vanessa.
Bye, Vanessa.
Good
Nice
meeting.
meeting you.
Take care. Bye.
Hope to see you again.
Bye.
Next month or week? Oh, I thought it was week. Okay, next month.
Sorry, Susan?
I thought it was once a week or it's once a month. Oh, great. Okay. I didn't know how often we were doing this. And
Oh, what, this? Zoom? I haven't made any plans yet. I thought we might do something weekly if people are interested.
oh, it sounded like that from what you said on the emails, so I didn't know.
Oh, I didn't see what came out in the email. It just goes out automatically when you
okay.
do this,
Okay.
send out the post. So, but yeah, I mean, the Australian group, the Subhatch group, they do a Zoom chat every Saturday as well, don't they? Have you joined in on that now?
I wake up at it used to be 4:30, now it's 5:30 in the morning, and I get on in my jammies.
I did the first one.
You did the first one, Gail?
Yeah.
And Nat, did you join in at all on that?
No, I didn't know about it.
Ah,
I didn't know
Or
about it.
maybe, actually, unless I couldn't do it. I don't know. I can't remember. When was it?
There
They've
was
had
one
them
on
every week for a while.
Saturday.
Yeah,
Saturday.
it's 8:30 p.m. Sydney time, Saturday night.
Yeah, and I think they said that they would put it in the
6:30
event
here. Yeah.
and the events on the events page on the Sapatch group. But yeah, it's another chance to catch up with people, mostly Aussies, I guess, but there's some others there. But it's
Be
just
prepared to dress up.
really nice, Mark.
This
I
week the theme is poppies.
I like your
Anzac
background,
Day.
Mark.
There's a theme each week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
It is pretty. Is it real? No, it's picture. You're really sitting on the beach.
this chat thing, it's all, you know, it's just as and when. If people are interested, great. If they're not, I mean, I had 26 people said that they would join in on this chat, but we haven't had that number. But you know, things change. Sometimes people can catch up, sometimes they can't. But
Well, also it says officially these chats are allowed 2 hours. So I think it might be a good idea just to throw out, to tell people it's really only going to be an hour. I thought that I was going to have to say goodbye and everybody was going to be on until, well, it's 9 a.m. here in Washington. But so it did say that. I mean, so I don't, you know, so I'm really thrilled. This is my first time on Zoom, so I'm happy. Yeah.
You can adjust if you actually set up one of these meetings. You can adjust the length of time of the meeting. So this could have been a 1 hour session, or I could, as I have done, make it a 2 hour session, just to see if, you know, people who want to stay and chat for 2 hours, fine. If they don't, doesn't matter. You know?
And you really covered the globe in this call.
Yeah, and so's
Right.
Mark.
Nice.
Where are you now?
But it definitely, yeah, to be, I have a feeling people are going to come on after we go off. They're going to try, because it did say 2 hours. So I have a feeling we're going to get more people. So
Yeah.
somebody said they were coming on later. I don't remember who it was.
Yeah.
Laura, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, there were a
Laura?
few people. Some obviously got to go to work, or some, you know, it's the middle of the
Yeah,
night.
I have a conference call at this time, so like every other week, and it got canceled. So I was like, okay.
Yeah, and you know, Nat's in the it's, you know, what time is it there? Midnight now.
Nearly, just about. Yeah.
So you know,
But I'm on school holidays, so I'm up late. But if it was this time next week, I'd be sound asleep in bed.
but it's also quite hard to try and judge a time that suits people, because
Oh, absolutely.
whichever time of day you choose,
Yeah,
it's
time
either
zone.
going to be late down under, or, you know, West Coast. It's in the UK and whatever. So I'm happy to, you know, sort of adjust times if people thought, you know, an earlier one or a later one would be better. But
Do you think a weekend would be better? You probably can't do it on the weekend, only because a lot of people aren't working.
I think also because, like I said, the Sapatch group, they do theirs on a Saturday. It might be, you know, Susan's nodding as well, because she joins.
I'm going, I don't know.
No, not you, Susan, the other Susan.
Oh, the other Susan. Oh, okay.
So I think that, you know, 2 on one day might be a lot, but that's why I thought Wednesday, midweek, gives us a chance. If you can catch up today, fine. If you can't, maybe you join the Australian bunch on Saturday.
Sure.
You know, if anybody else wanted to, you know, do another one another day, that's not impossible. But
I would love to do another day. I have 2 others today. I mean, it's my only day. I have, you know, I have one DoxyCom. It's a professional one, a therapist, and another Zoom, which I haven't even gotten onto yet because I haven't had the nerve to try. But I was really motivated. I really wanted to be part of this today. So.
See, and it wasn't scary at all.
No.
on to Camelot.
I don't know what I pressed that worked, but it worked. Like, whoa.
Hi, Mark, say hello to Sarah and George, won't you, while you're there?
Look at that, so cute. So, Fran, what did you want to do as far as, did you want to wait a few weeks and then we post something, or we just keep talking on Zoom, or what did you want to do as far as continuity?
Well, I thought today, if I mentioned to people here that, you know, to give people a chance to have a think about it, including.
Yeah, I'll give it a think.
Right. Okay.
And,
Good idea.
you know, like I said, we're going to be doing episode 3 on Saturday. Yeah, episode
On
3 of
Saturday?
season 6. We're
Season
going to
six,
do
episode 3.
a recap for episode 3 of season 6. So
Yes.
we've got 7
Yes.
weeks
Yeah. I've already written
to come up with some ideas for what to do when it finishes. So
Oh, you want me to add that to the recap? I could, on the bottom, say if anybody has ideas, we're coming to an end soon, or you want to wait, or it's up to you. You know.
I don't know if it would be a good idea at this stage to say
A little
to
early.
You might just to throw, you know,
Yeah.
I think
many
things are good
ideas
idea.
thrown at you instead of talking about the episode. Perhaps leave that for now. But just for you personally and each of us to have a think about what we, you know, what else we could do. And, you know, maybe in 2 or 3 weeks, if people have got ideas, then you can say, right, now we were thinking about doing this, that, and the other. It could be a
And we
separate.
have this as an avenue too, you know, to communicate. It's nice to be able to hear.
Yeah,
You know.
but you know, see, we can do a separate post, completely separate post about what we want to do, you know, in the future.
True.
So as not to impinge on your recap for the episodes, really.
And also it gives new people who might not look at the stuff because they haven't started it already a chance to.
Yeah, I do feel for those people. I can see some of the new ones are coming in and saying, I'm on season 1, and I'm thinking, oh.
Season 1, yeah.
Right. And they, you know, they may have some ideas. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Right, Donna had to go, so she's gone. But what else was I going to say? Anybody else got any things that they want to throw out there?
I'm just wondering how you manipulate these doodads here. But I'll learn as I go along. Anyway. So.
Yeah, well,
It was wonderful meeting some of you. I hope more people come on. How many people can you have on one page?
Well, you can have 100 people in one of these
Really?
meetings.
It's a lot, yeah.
Photos just get
But
smaller.
it must get really small.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I think, I don't know if any of you are on a tablet. I think Lena is. But,
Yeah, I'm on an iPad and I get 9 and then I page over to the next, you know, the next.
Oh, okay. So it's a different setup if you're on a mobile phone, if you're on the laptop.
Yeah, and here you can do group view or another. There are multiple view options on my screen anyway.
And on laptops, you could see everybody at once.
Yeah, and did you get the reaction
Well, I
at the
have.
bottom? You can do your thumbs up.
Yep.
And a clap. And yeah, of course the chat. I think I said, I don't know if you all caught the bit about the chat. If you wanted to talk to an individual, you just go to that person's face on the screen and you'll see the 3 dots and you can click on that and you can have a chat with that individual rather than chatting to the whole.
Pops up on the right, doesn't it? All the chat comes
just
up on
pop
the right
on.
of the screen.
Oh, that's everyone, Pat. What I'm saying is if you wanted to talk to just Jane, for example, if you put your cursor on Jane's picture,
Okay.
you see 3 dots on the right?
Well, also, if you go down to everyone.
Yeah.
Right,
and
on the
use
chat
arrow
on the
down.
side,
Yeah.
there's a
on the
drop
arrow
down.
Puts everybody up there singly.
So you can message individually if you want to.
So if I press the 3 dots, I bring her up singly.
Yeah, but you then can just message her rather than messaging the whole group.
Okay.
So that's the lesson for today.
Anyway, ladies, it was nice meeting
Lesson one.
everybody.
Okay.
And I hope to see you all again. Looking
Yes.
forward to the next one.
Okay.
Yes, let
All
us
right.
know. Let us know. And
Bye, Pat.
everyone have a lovely day, evening, night.
Oh, it's
morning.
gorgeous here. All
I'll
right,
get my
bye.
breakfast soon. I'm gonna get my little bird up, so maybe I'll get him up early so you can see him. How do you get off this thing? Anyway? Leave. Okay. You leave meeting.
Yeah. Oh, we're all
Oh, for
going.
just a second, we looked like the Brady Bunch.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, the same thing.
Yeah, so I hope that's it's nice. I was worried about the number of people being on the chat because I thought 26 people, it's going to be quite a, you know, cacophony of sound and voices and noise.
How many do they have on the Satchers chat?
I think the first time they had about 20, and then it was fewer on Saturday just gone. So
Yeah, I think that was the first. The first was the most, but you know, they left. Everybody was, you know, could talk just whenever they wanted, and it worked out. It's, you know, it's a lot of giggling, a lot of fun, a lot of changing costumes, and
a lot of drinking as well, depending on the time.
Sounds very Australian. Drinking, laughing, giggling. Yes.
It was just so much fun to watch. And as somebody said earlier, you get to see all the faces behind all the posts. And when I was in Australia a couple of years ago, I recognized, say, Margaret Jackson from her picture. I found her before she found me.
Oh, wow, that's cool.
Yeah, Margaret said she was going to join today, but you know, as Brenda said, it's, I don't know what time it is in Australia. In
1 o'clock.
Oh, I think Brenda
About
said it was
2
like
o'clock.
1:45 when she got off.
It's, it's about 2 a.m. over there because they're 2 hours ahead of where I am. So
yeah,
in Sydney, which is where Brenda is, it would be heading close to 2 o'clock in the morning. That is.
But no, it is what it is, isn't it? You know, some people like to chat, some people like to sit back and just, you know, listen to the conversation. When you've got a lot of people, well, say a number of people who are happy to chat away, and the more you do this, the more people sort of feel, you know, don't mind having a chat.
You know what? One week in that call, it was not this last week, the week before, but you know, Peter, Brenda, a lot of them were extras, and they talked about the filming. It was like, it was so much fun. It was so interesting. So.
Yeah, and you went to the garden party, didn't you, Susan?
Yeah, I'll tell you, I went to the last gala.
Oh, the gala, yeah.
And to tell you the truth, I was horribly disappointed that there weren't the stars that were promised. I mean, I've never said that out loud to the people in the other group, but yeah, it was. And then, you know, I already had my ticket, and then I saw there was the one Eugene went to, that season 6 opening where all that's like the one I wished I'd gone to. But anyhow, there was like, you know, the guy that played Stan and the dog, and I was promised everybody, and I was just sort of, I said, what is it? It's a year and a half ago. I've not gotten over it yet.
Yeah, no, but you're right,
but it was so much fun to meet everybody.
Right, sure. Yeah.
So now so like when I know a lot of them, and
expectation,
it
because
was just so, to me, this is what sorry, I'm talking a lot here, but to me, it was so brilliant that they figured out that because we like this TV show, we had a whole lot of other things in common. I mean, that's like so amazing.
And because I was just going to say, Jane had, you know, your expectation of going there and meeting cast as well. Jane had that royal treatment, which, you know, that was the year before, wasn't it?
Yes, 2 years ago.
Jane was the first one.
Yeah, and you were treated royally, weren't you?
In 2016 when I went.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
I went
did get
2018.
that new member, whose name starts with an R, I can't remember her name, but anyway, no, is it Roxanne? It's something.
It's something, yeah.
Anyway, you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know you're talking about.
And so people are talking about their experiences with the cast, and I have not posted mine because it would be like too much bragging. She would
post it.
She would go wild
I
if
don't
she
think I
saw
posted my pictures either.
Yeah, if she saw the picture of me sitting at the table with the whole cast, yeah. Even I still.
Well, I had a Skype call with Marta.
I know.
And I kept that off social media for her sake more than anything else.
Yeah.
It wasn't me personally. It was my year 5-6 class.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was just absolutely like awesome. Not just, it was a bit of a side note for me, like big fan, blah, 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 but my students gave me crap for it, but They told me I wasn't allowed to be in the room during it because I was going to take over. And I said to them, it's not going to be me, it's going to be, and I actually did. I literally sat the back of the room out of sight. But then she asked where I was. So I got dragged in to the actual call and ended up sitting on the floor with the rest of the kids.
Was it a film class?
No, just year 5 primary school class.
Oh.
It's a long story, but I'll shorten it because I know people probably want to not listen to my voice. International Women's Day. I asked them to come up with some, my school where I am is very in a low socioeconomic area, so they don't get a lot of exposure to this kind of stuff. They suffer a lot from trauma and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, I asked them to come up with a woman who inspires them. And I gave them examples of who they could choose, but you've got to role model a lot and show them and demonstrate what you want so they know. So I spoke about Marta because my mum passed away, almost 5 years ago. So I wasn't going to bring all that up. But anyway, so I chose her because of her work she does outside of her acting. And that was what inspired me more than anything. Anyway, I had 2 of my girls come up to me and ask me if they could write about her. So I was like, wow, okay. Don't know what I said or what I did to make you want to write about her. But anyway, I tweeted about it and I put a post up that afternoon when I got home and Marta responded to it. So, and when I showed the kids the next day at school, they're like, oh, can she come into class? Can we meet her? Can she come to school? And I'm like, yeah, no. A bit too difficult. So anyway, I was driving home that day and I went, hey, with the day and age of social media, like videos and stuff, why can't we organise a video chat possibly? I don't know. I was just putting it out. So I put it out there to her, didn't hear anything for a few days, thought, nah, she obviously doesn't want to do it, which is fair enough, blah, blah, blah. And then one weekend she replied to me and told me to contact her management company in Sydney. So did all that. Long story short, it eventually happened 6 months, 5 months after the original tweet back in March. So this all happened at the beginning of March, happened in August. So it was meant to be the June and then something came up for her, so she had to postpone it. So, and then I was lucky enough to meet her after her play in Melbourne to give her the flowers and the present that my kids had made for her.
Nice.
So yeah, very, very, very lucky to have that. That was a very small snippet of the story, but yeah. So, but yeah, I never put back to what Jane was saying about putting it. I haven't put anything much on there at all, but it was mainly for her private, like not privacy, I suppose, but just so people didn't go, oh, okay, maybe I'm going to try that.
Right.
Yeah.
Kind of thing more than anything. So.
Yeah, that's one thing I kind of have noticed because I did this email to Bevan Lee and he responded really, promptly and, exceptionally, in detail. And then because I posted that and then there's like, well, can you find out how Brett Climo is? And, can you ask him to ask Bevan to find out how Brett Climo is? Like, well, no, come on. They have their own lives to lead. It's hard, I know, but especially with Brett Climo, because he doesn't do any social media or anything like that. So, I'm sure he's fine, tucked away somewhere in Melbourne, isn't it? But, yeah, like you say.
Well, Marta actually contacted me personally. I ended up, it started off with her management company, and then I think it was just going to be easier. Like her management company got CC'd in for every email she sent me, but it came from her. And I had someone message me a while ago asking me, they said they were going to her play in Sydney that I went lucky enough to see before they shut all the theatres down, and asked me if I had an email address for her because she wanted to let her know that they were coming. And I was like, no. I just said, I told her a bit of a white lie and went, no, I don't. I said all the communication was via her management company. And I'm like, I'm not going to give out that information. How silly do people think I am?
Yeah, you got
Even I don't use it. Like, not anymore.
Trust thing as well, isn't it, though? Because, you know, I mean, I'm so grateful for that Bevan Lee has responded, and, you know, obviously these guys are really, really nice people and do spend the time replying to the fans in this situation. But I think, you know, you've just got to draw the line between making a nuisance of yourself, like keep sending emails and can you do this and can you find out that, as opposed to, the question that the lady asked about the name that Sarah recited, I thought was a really interesting question for me about why they had chosen that name. So I thought, no, I will ask. And I'm also interested to know how Bevan was. Yeah, it's kind of knowing you've got to be careful about the privacy element as well, because you don't want to, you know, ruin somebody's life by having them get a load of emails or whatever else. Just because people,
and chances are she'd know where it came from. Anyway, yeah, I mean, she accidentally, it was a little while after, she accidentally emailed me by mistake. It's quite a funny story that I have to tell, but yeah, she was looking for a new iPad for her daughter for school or something and needed some code for the place that they got it from or something. So I very quickly just messaged her back, just letting her know that she sent it to the wrong person and that I would, of course, delete the email because at the bottom of it, it had her mobile number.
Woo!
Yeah, so she was very, very lucky it did come to me.
Yeah.
Someone who, you know, will keep to their word. That's why I said I would delete it, because I was like, yeah, that only needs to get into the wrong hands and we're in a bit of trouble.
Well, I'm going to go. Good to see everybody. Thank you so much, Jan, for arranging this.
Good to see you again. Are you there on Saturday?
Yeah.
You're there.
I set the alarm and I get up. And
okay. Hope to see you then.
Okay.
Okay. Take care. Bye. Stay safe.
Hi, Laura. Hi, Elliot.
Laura. Well, you've muted yourself.
You muted.
Oh, there you go. Hi, Laura. Laura?
And Laura's frozen.
Oh, she is frozen. Can you hear us, Laura? She needs to put the volume on. Chat. Talk amongst yourselves.
Nat, are you actually, next week when school is back in, are you actually in the classroom with the kids?
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, not the announcement was made on Friday last week, and let's just say there's a lot of us not happy.
Yeah.
Not happy at all. We've had 0 cases for a couple of days in a row, but they've said all along that schools are safe to be, and I'm going, no. We haven't had any kids over here. But yeah, it's made a lot of us very angry, frustrated, and, forgive my swearing, but pissed off.
Now, is that rule effective for all of Western Australia or just Perth?
Yeah, no, all of Western Australia. Catholic schools, private schools can, you know, pretty much do what they like. In terms of public schools, there are rules and stuff we have to follow, but certain ones like social distancing.
In the meeting. This meeting is being recorded.
Apparently doesn't apply in schools, but kids can't go to playgrounds outside in the parks, but they can play on the playgrounds in schools. It's a lot of mixed messages and stuff coming out, and it's just absolutely, it's crazy. Our unions are working their backsides off to try and get some things into place. We're not going to get away with working from home. We're going to have to go into class. We don't have a choice, but hopefully we'll get some safety things and extra cleaning and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, not a good position to be in. I'm actually, yeah, I mean, I'm coming home. I don't have a family living. I have no one living with me. I'm on my own. Just me and the dog. So I don't have that extra risk of what am I bringing home. But I don't know.
But all of the staff, all of the kids, all of the, you know.
We don't. So this is the other thing. We don't know how many kids are going to come in. We could have we could have 70, 80, 90% of our kids, or we could have 50%. And that's the thing that the union's saying. Like, we have no idea who's going to walk in and
That's
how many
crazy.
we're going to have.
That is
And
absolutely
then we're
crazy.
like, so I teach year 1 and 2, so 5 to 7 year olds. They can't socially distance. They've got no idea. They have snotty noses. They put fingers up their nose. They put fingers in their mouths. They touch each other. They, you know, all that kind of stuff. But apparently social distancing doesn't apply in schools.
That's so crazy.
And since the announcement was made on Friday, there's a lot of people that I'm noticing outside now, like they're kind of getting that little bit, oh, schools are going to be open, so why should we bother doing anything else?
Yeah, it is mixed messages, isn't it? It's, I think here they've, I'm not sure, another 3 weeks, I think, of lockdown. They haven't mentioned yet about schools. I think the last thing they said they weren't sure, but it probably wouldn't be until June. I think because if they're going to keep another 3 weeks worth of lockdown, I think they have to get things in place really for kids to go back to school.
Right.
And having said that, my 16-year-old finishes in May anyway, if he was at school, because it's his last year in school. So, he won't be going back. In fact, he's
Your
not
school
doing
years
anything.
are different to ours here, though, aren't they?
Sorry?
The school years are different.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We run
Our
from
school
February.
Yeah, our school year ends in May. And
So it
Fran, yours
starts in
does
May?
too. But you
they
go
take their
the calendar
exams.
year, don't you, Nat?
Yeah. We start
Yeah.
in February. February to December.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so usually here they would do their exams in May and June, the year 11s, and then finish school. But they finished back in February. Was it end of February? So he's not sitting any exams his final year, and they're going to just predict them. So, but he's insane. He's enjoying that. But there's no impetus really for him to do any work at all.
Right,
And
sure. Right. That's what I is. We're having classes online, but they're not really grading. If you have a chance to get your grade up, but they
that's how it
won't
is here
punish
too.
you. Yeah.
They've suggested here that what they can do, these year 11s, is they will probably set their exams in September if they want to sit them. If they don't agree with the predicted grade that they get given and they feel they could have done better, then they can sit the exam in September and improve on that. Whether that goes the other way, I don't know. If they do worse than expected.
Yeah, I just want to say goodbye to everybody. It was good seeing you. We'll see you next time, hopefully.
Okay, yeah. You too, Gail. You take care.
Well.
All right, take care.
All right, bye, Gail.
Okay, see you. What was that, Eugene? You going?
I think Eugene was saying bye as well.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. See you too, Eugene. Let me see you.
See you next week.
Okay, take care. Bye.
Bye.
And then there were 5. Yeah. No, I mean, with the timing of this, I had no idea how long people would want to stay, whether some would come and go, which has happened, I guess, whether some people are there from start to finish. Nat, you got there. You were in straight after me, weren't you?
Yes. It's all right. I can sleep in the morning. All good.
Yeah, you don't mind that.
So I just had to move. I had to move rooms because my laptop battery was going flat, so I had to plug it in. Change of scenery.
Yeah. Yes.
I'd rather stay up late for a call than have to get up so early. I'm kind of dreading Saturday, but I'm going to try.
See, I'm a morning person.
Oh, which is
I'm
handy
up at
since
5
you're a teacher.
I'm up at 5:30.
What time? I remember doing those Skype chats and having to get up at like 3 o'clock in the morning, and there's just oh my god, and trying to look half human is not easy at that time of day. And plus, I was doing.
The hardest part was listening to Susan.
Oh yeah, But I was doing it from down in the shed at the end of the garden. And of course, it was pitch dark because it was the middle of the night. And then you couldn't see my face. And then, you know, dawn broke and then you could see me. And it's quite strange. But have you gone back and looked at any of those videos?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. She hasn't taken them down, so that's great. You other guys, you know about those YouTube videos? Do you know
I've seen one of them.
You have?
Yeah, yeah.
And you, Nat?
Which ones
I'm
are
sorry?
they? I've seen.
The YouTube videos,
The international pages, live chats with the cast.
Yeah, the live chats with the cast. It
I
came.
think I've seen one.
There was about 6. Jane?
There was definitely more than one.
Yeah. No, I think if you go to YouTube and if you type in Place to Call Home International, there is a channel that has got them all on there. And me and Jane, we were on a couple of those together, weren't we?
I did most of them. I didn't do all of them, but I did most of them. So.
Amy, hello.
Hey, welcome back.
Hey, I had to do some work. I had to listen to MIT EHS go on about possible solutions. So,
did they have any possible solutions?
Yeah, I mean, they're talking about making plans for if and when we do start back up, and yeah, it all includes pretty much what we've been doing.
Sure.
So.
Do you have to teach Zoe anything today?
No, she's on April vacation, which is like really super convenient since Baker just canceled school for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
But that's okay. We needed a break. I needed a break because me teaching her math was not.
You know what? I could not imagine trying to teach my child that one.
I never signed up for that. I was like, I told people there's a reason why I didn't want to become a school teacher. Bless them. I am not just, I don't have the patience for it. I only have to do, used to do weekly training sessions with MIT students and researchers for coming into the labs. And that was enough. Like that drove me bonkers because, you know, you got people who don't listen, you get frustrated, they're asking you questions about what you just said, like they never heard it because they were busy on their phones. And, you know, she's trying too. And it's like the two of us, but we were tackling stuff that she hasn't done yet. And I'm like, but it sounds like her teacher plans on trying to do some more Zoom stuff with them. And since they know they're not coming back, but here in Swampscott, fourth grade is the last of elementary and they're going to go to middle school for fifth grade. So it was supposed to be a big celebration of the year, moving on ceremony and such, and now that's not going to happen. So the kids are kind of obviously, you know, disappointed, but anyways, we'll figure it out.
So with graduation here, they're having each kid come in and walk across the stage independently, and then they're filming it, and then they're going to cut it together.
Cool.
But everybody in my town is really mad about it. And they just keep complaining, and they're like, well, we can have a graduation in July. And they're like, I mean, we don't know. So we're going to do this. And people are mad. It's a whole thing. But I think that they're trying to do something is nice.
Yeah.
And they plan a party or get together something later.
Exactly.
Well, that's why I was like, you know, hopefully we can do something like that, have a beach bash or something.
Right. Yeah.
But for now, you know, everybody's doing the best that they can, and it stinks. But what are you going to do? Like, you don't want to fill a crowded auditorium with kids and their families. So,
or a bowling alley if you're in Georgia.
That's right.
I have a friend who is in Florida, and she is just beside herself right now because, you know, they're talking about opening the beaches in her county, and you know, same as like in Georgia. And it's just like, you know, I mean, I know that you guys haven't been hit as hard as New York and Boston and you know, places out west, but, you know, it's you guys have a little we have a lot more population density, but the thing is it's still out there. And you know, as we saw from like spring break in Louisiana, I'm worried about what's going to happen and how it's going to start to continue, because it's like they found in Wisconsin now,
7 people from the election day.
they believe from election day. And how many people have those 7 people been in contact with?
And how many people are asymptomatic now? So we won't know until they've give it to somebody else.
Exactly. And this thing has such a long incubation period. And one of the articles I posted yesterday, you know, it's not solid yet, but they're seeing that a lot of people are walking around with pneumonia before they ever knew that they did, for the longest. And that's why those people who were critical turns out, you know, like they had people who came in who fell and hurt their shoulder, or they were, you know, whatever, for other reasons.
Wow.
They did an x-ray and saw these people were walking around with pneumonia at the beginning of it. And so now there's been a rush on buying the pulse oximeters,
right, sure.
Because they were walking around, because the way that this acts is not normal. So people were walking around not realizing that they were having low oxygen saturation, because they weren't really feeling traditional symptoms of pneumonia. So it's interesting to see, like, this thing behaves in ways that they're only just beginning to get a handle on. And so these people are out there walking around with it and exposing each other. And go ahead, I mean, I guess go ahead and get your tattoo, but you're putting other people in danger. I don't know why bowling alleys are essential. At least you can get more distance in a bowling alley than you could in a hair salon or a tattoo parlor.
Yes, those really, really, really long needles that they're, you know.
Yeah. Did you see one of those videos where they were using like shears to cut the woman's hair?
The ceremonial opening shears for the hair? Yeah.
Oh God! I mean, I just, you know, at this Middle America and, you know, and parts of the South were kind of not as impacted, but I'm afraid they're going to be, because.
Well, that's what I think is going to happen here, because we haven't had an influx in WA. We've closed our state borders, our intrastate borders, so we can't travel outside our own areas. So I can't, say, for example, go from Perth down to Busselton. I can't go up north. I can't travel outside of Perth. So we've been really lucky. Our numbers have stayed really low, and we've had a couple of days where we've had no new cases at all. Very, very limited community spread, but I'm waiting for it to hit, because Tasmania was the first state in Australia to close off. So it became an island of an island. I mean, Tasmania's its own island anyway.
Right.
But the northwest part of it has had like 1,000. Like it's gone astronomical. So we're talking a small, tiny state, like the smallest state that had hardly anything, closed off from the rest of Australia, was the first state to do it. Yet they have had a huge number of cases in the last week. In one certain part of it. And my family lives I've got family in Tassie, because my mum was from there originally. And they're like half an hour from where 2 of the hospitals were that they've closed down. They had to close 2 hospitals. So I checked in to see if they were okay, and they said, yeah, as long as we don't get sick, because we've got to drive to Launceston or Latrobe, which is about a 2.5-hour drive, 3-hour drive from where they are, because the 2 nearest hospitals have been closed.
Oh, wow.
Due to the infection starting from in there, I think.
Oh my God.
So yeah, so what we were saying about, you know, it's going to come eventually. I think our government has got their head in the sand somehow. I mean, I don't know. I could be wrong, but I think they're open. I don't think when we're in schools, we've never closed. We've been open since day one. We've tried to limit the number of kids we've had coming. So unless you're an essential worker who has to go to work, who's got no one else to look after the kids or whatever, then they can still come. So we've always had our doors open, but now they're making us, they've left it up to parents. This is how crazy it is. The government, the state government has gone, parents, it's up to you. If you want to send your child or not, it's up to you. And we're like, are you serious? Like, it's crazy. Absolutely crazy. And as I said before, social distancing apparently doesn't apply in schools. Go figure. Because apparently kids don't carry it. They're, you know, blah, 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 blah. The usual. So, yes, it makes me very angry. I get so angry and worked out when I start talking about it because it's just doing my head in.
That's insane. I just, because
So this time next week, we would have had our first day back with the kids. So, yeah, we don't know how many we're going to get. And that's the other thing. We don't know how many are going to turn up.
Wow. Yeah. They've had
And
kids.
we've prepared for home learning. We spent the last week of the school term, they made them pupil-free days so we could get together home learning packages. And that's what we've done. And now
they're like, never mind.
We're going to have to use some of those for some of our students, and we're going to have face-to-face. Like, it's just, our workload has gone pure like that. And it's stress levels, mental health, like, it's just crazy.
And there's no way to prepare if you don't know who's coming or...
That's exactly right. And this whole cleaning, playgrounds have to be cleaned after every break. It's like, what are we supposed to do? Oh, they've been down the slide. Okay, let's clean the slide before the next kid goes down. Like, it's just, it's, oh, yeah.
Oh my God.
Fun times, not.
But there are kids who are getting it here.
Yeah, there are. And there have been a couple of kids who've died.
Yeah, and
yeah, I mean, the kids are getting it, and New Zealand's had a few schools, and they've done a hard shut too with their borders and stuff right from quite early on, because they've got a prime minister who, you know, he's actually got her.
Could rule the world.
Yeah,
he does. I want to move to New Zealand when this is all over. We need more of her, more people like her. Yeah, and they've had quite a few cases in school kids, like quite a high number.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I don't know which medical expertise the government's getting their information from, but I don't think it's right, personally. But we're just saying we're cannon fodder for the economy. That's what we are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Or
our Lieutenant Governor said that
land's being led to the slaughter. Either way, like, it's just, they're using us as guinea pigs.
our Lieutenant Governor said publicly that old people should be happy to sacrifice themselves for the economy for their children and grandchildren. And I'm like, you do that, but I'm not going to sacrifice my mom. Thanks.
Texas guy, the Texas one who was saying,
yeah.
You know, there's things worse than death.
Okay.
Our government, man.
You first. Go ahead. Go out there. You first.
Except, you know, he's wealthy and he won't have to go anywhere.
No.
It's not him who's putting himself in danger.
Exactly. So, yeah, no thank you, but I won't be. No.
That's exactly
That's
my
what
plan.
people are saying here. Parliament is closed. So our Prime Minister is not going to work. Well, I mean, he's still working, obviously. He's dealing with a pandemic, but Parliament has not they haven't had a Parliament sitting for weeks. Yet they're making us go to work. Like,
go back into that little germ factory on a good day. Like, that's like gyms, and you know, those places are like riddled with germs on
Jim, someplace else you can go in Georgia.
That's right.
A pandemic, but sure, let's, you know.
yeah. And apparently social distancing is not applicable in schools. Okay then.
Because, you know,
You
kids
try telling the
never
kids that they can't-
spread germs.
No, that they can't go to their friends' houses. They can't go to the park. They can't play on this, but go to school because you can go and play on everything there. Like, someone came up with a really good meme saying that, oh, if you want to have a party or if you want to do this, come make an appointment. Come to school because you can do all those things there.
Oh dear.
Can't remember
All
what
right,
it was.
I
It
gotta
was
go.
actually-
It's been nice seeing you guys.
Okay, thank you, Randy. Good to see you. Speak soon.
Yep.
Thanks. Bye.
Yeah, so it sounds like they're planning on possibly not even bringing, so come September, there's a few different variations of ideas, but, you know, the undergrads might not come back, or only half of them come back, and then, you know, and then they leave, and then others, you know, the other ones come, and, you know, they have the remote learning. So, you know, like Harvard, they're talking about not even reopening until like 2021. for undergrad. So you know, but you know, we'll see. But the thing is until they can figure out who has it and who doesn't.
Are they doing a lot of testing there? Are they testing people?
No, it still isn't a high amount of testing. So I thought, I was sitting there thinking, oh, well, you know, maybe they would at least within the community start trying to test everyone. Where I live has had a high rate of per capita per person. It's a small town, and there's been, you know, we've had a couple of grocery store worker deaths now, and you know, we've had like, I mean, like again, it's a really small town, and like I think it was 60 something the last I checked, which is large for our small town. Think Hamlet, tiny little borough or whatever, you know, and yeah, so I'm still going to continue taking every single precaution.
Yeah.
When we go out, it's hard getting delivery of groceries or pickup now, even so.
Where are you, Laura?
I'm in Arkansas.
Ah, okay. And how is it there?
Yeah, and we're one of the few states that doesn't have a stay-in-place order. And our numbers, we were, you know, 80 new cases a day, and yesterday we went to 230 new cases. It's just because people are getting cabin fever, so they're going out, they're meeting at Walmart and Kroger, they're, you know, it's pretty weird. I think the cases are going to keep going up until the governor does something.
Yeah.
Everybody was doing good staying home for a while, but
yeah, it's a crazy thing. Just mentally, some people get it, and some people are just, I've done this for 2 or 3 weeks. That's enough for me now. I'm going to just go out and forget about it all. Right. It's
right. And we're a red state, so everybody's getting their news from Fox, from Trump's favorite news station that parrots his ideas. So you end up with a lot of people with very faulty information, and they believe it. It's the gospel truth for them. So
Australia thinks for nothing with Murdoch.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry, I can't stand that man. But it's spread all over. But yeah, I'm like, I hope Arkansas and places like Kansas and all those guys don't get hit. But I don't see how it's not going to happen with people, like you said, just getting bad misinformation, getting cabin fever. I mean, it sucks. I hate it. I really do hate it. And I don't.
And if they just done what they did and shut down early, we could be, we could get the economy up and going again much faster than dragging it out for months like we're doing this way.
Yeah.
This is what I think that's what's happening here. I just hope it stays that way and numbers don't increase, because they've now widened our testing. So they're now, anyone who's got cough, temperature, only one of the symptoms, they've said a sore throat, they've said go and get tested.
Well, that's good.
And they're doing tests on people like that. So that obviously will show if we've had any community spread. A lot of our cases have come from the Artania, the cruise ship, which is finally set sail out of Fremantle on the weekend. So we got rid of that. But yeah, there was quite a few from that. But yeah, I just hope it doesn't. I hope it stays where it is. But to be in all honesty, I don't see that happening. When school goes back, it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah.
There's
going to be a second
wave. Sorry, Laura?
Sorry?
There's going to be a second wave of it here.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we haven't even hit winter yet either. Well, here in Australia, we haven't had winter. Like our winter hasn't started yet.
Right.
And I reckon that's where our second wave will come. Once about May, June, when winter doesn't start till June, but I reckon once cold and flu season hits, I think we'll get a second lot. But I don't know.
Your healthcare
system.
Yeah, your healthcare system will be inundated with, regular, potentially normal flu season plus this.
Yeah, so they're encouraging everyone to get the flu needle. But yeah. And I mean, I'm a mild asthmatic, so I'm a little bit more concerned, I think, because I only tend to get it when I'm sick. So I don't know how, if I was to get it, I don't know how it's going to affect me and my asthma. Because if I get a cold, then I start coughing, and then it goes to my chest. So other than that, I don't get it very often. It's just every now and again. I haven't had a severe attack since I was 16, so quite a long time ago. But it affects me more when I'm sick. So that's my worry. Like, I mean, I have the flu needle every year, but yeah. So that's where I get a little bit concerned, is if I do get it, how's it going to affect my lungs and my asthma?
Yeah.
I was having that conversation yesterday. Interesting. Yeah, I don't, if I do get, yeah, when I have in the past gotten sick, yeah, it's brutal. Like, so the H1N1, that year I had my flu shot, but I still got the flu, which it was probably the H1N1 because they didn't have the vaccine. It wasn't incorporated in that year's.
Yeah.
And I remember feeling like I wanted to die. It was awful. It was horrible. And like my asthma was affected during that time. And I was like, I don't even want to think what having this would be like. It just sounds like it's such a horrible, if it trips that whatever is going on, that cascade, and the people who are getting so severe, I don't, oh, it's awful. Anyways, I know what you mean right there. I'm like, I don't even want to think about what it would be like.
No, and I mean, I already deal with that stuff at school anyway. I mean, I get kids snotty noses and God knows what else. And
little germ factory.
Like, I mean, within the first, I think it was one morning, I let the kids in, and I turned around, and they'd only been in for like 20 seconds. I turned around, and someone already had they were like in someone else's personal space already with their hands all over each other. And I'm like, oh, stay away.
What age group?
Year 1 and 2, so 5 to 8 year olds.
Oh my
God. So yeah, so beginning of in their first, well, I mean, we have different, obviously we have kindergarten, which is year 3 and 4 year olds, pre-primary, which is 4, 5 year olds. The way our system works with the cutoff halfway through the year with their ages, that's why I said 5 to 8, because they could be born the second half of the year. And then they're a year older than what they would be if they were in, yeah, anyway.
Gotcha.
So yeah, so then they got, yeah, year 1 and 2. So they're still, yeah, they just don't, I mean, we've been doing all the whole hand, it's exhausting. Washing your hands after you come back in after playtime, before you eat, before they go out, like after they've done this, after they've done that, go to the toilet, make sure you come in. It's like, oh, it's emotionally, it's physically and emotionally, mentally exhausting. Yeah. Get out of their personal space. Don't touch them. Get the pencil out of your mouth. You know, all that. That kind of stuff. And just like, but then they go, but social distancing doesn't apply in schools. And you're like, oh my God.
What, my daughter just turned 10, and so did her friend, but yeah, we walked down the street just to have a distant hello, how are you doing, whatever, and we're like, okay, you know, maintain a huge amount of distance, but you can ride. We rode her scooter down, so her friend got on her scooter, and they were staying apart. And everything was great for about a few minutes, but I noticed like they would just start coming closer and closer, and we're like, you need to get apart, like stay with. So we finally just said, okay, forget it. I mean, and they're 10, so I can only imagine for 5 to 8 year olds, it would still.
And younger again, I've got like one of my good friends from school is kindy, so she's got 3 and 4 year olds, so they're even worse.
There's no such thing as social distancing with them.
No, there's not. No, our parents aren't allowed on school grounds, so when we come back next week, there's going to be certain gates that they're going to be allowed in, certain gates that they'll go out. So parents have to stay outside the school grounds. They are not allowed on site. And that just brings a whole heap of other issues with year 3, with kindergarten and pre-primary kids, because parents bring them to the classroom.
Yeah.
So they're going to have to be picked up from the gate and brought in, because parents aren't allowed. That's one of the directives we've had from our government is, yeah, no
the kids
parents
are saying,
on school grounds.
The kids are staying with their parents, so they're bringing whatever their parents may have or not have in with them.
That's exactly right. It's not going to make a difference. If you've got anything, you're going to pass it to the kid. The kid's going to bring it into school anyway. Yay, government. Who's never stepped foot in a classroom before, I can bet you boots.
I'm just going to
Anyway,
give a little warning that I don't know how much longer this is going to go on for. It was a 2-hour thing, and according to my time, that gives us 10 minutes until it's going to finish. But I haven't had a warning. They do usually pop up, don't they?
Yeah, I forgot we were being recorded.
And sorry for taking up most of it.
No. Somebody asked me to record it. I don't know if I'm going to sit and listen to it all again. I mean, 2 hours of it. I was here, so I know what was said. But
and speaking of COVID, actually, who follows Marta on Instagram? Have you been seeing what her family and her have been getting up to?
I love that puppet or whatever.
Oh, the elephant. I keep meaning to post some of it. Actually, I haven't got around to it. I might sit down tomorrow once I get up, and I'll post some of the photos and the videos she's been posting. But
yeah, do that.
Yeah, I normally do on her fan club page and stuff, and I've now been made an admin member of it.
Oh, good.
I had Pat Gallagher come on, message me the other day, going, asked me if I would because he doesn't have time.
Yeah, I was going to say, I haven't seen much from Pat Gallagher on any of the sites, but
yeah. So he asked me, he goes, "I've seen as you're a bit of a fan," and blah. Bit of a fan. I don't know what words he used. He goes, "Would you be interested in taking it over?" I went, "Yeah, okay."
Ah, so is
Think about changing the, what do you call it, the banner, that top photo?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's been there for ever since that play.
Yeah, which is why I changed it today.
Oh, good. I hadn't been on it today.
I got it and I changed it tonight, actually. I was like, should I do it or should I not? And then someone's like, well, you are an admin member, so why not? And I went, okay. So it's been, yeah, you're right. It's been up there since.
Yeah.
I even joined the page, and I've been on the page for I don't even know how long now. And then I was like, what do I change it to? So I went with,
but it always kind of, it makes me a little, well, kind of sad in a way, because when I went in 2016 and I saw her in Gloria, she was absolutely wiped out after I saw it 3 times, and every time she came out, she was completely drained, did not want to talk to me. I mean, she did speak to me, but it was an effort, you could tell. And then the Queensland thing and every place since then, oh yeah, she's been happy and visiting with fans afterwards. Yeah. And
she's been, not necessarily. Well, I mean, I saw her in 2017 when she did A Doll's House Part 2. I only spoke to her then because I'd organised the meeting with her, because that was when she did the Skype call with my kids. She was exhausted because that play went for an hour and a half. There was no intermission, and she was on stage from the minute the door opened to the end of the play, and she was talking for that whole time. So she came off, and I spoke to her for about 10 minutes and stuff, and then she was like, she goes, I've got to go. Like, she's really, and I had been on an overnight flight too, so I was pretty exhausted myself. And then I went and saw The Deep Blue Sea in February, and she did come out, but no, she saw someone she knew, and then they went next door into the, I don't know if you've been to the theatre down there in, oh God, I can't think of it, the Rosalind Packer. So next door there's a cap. So she knew someone, and then they went in next door, and that was it. She didn't speak to anyone.
She's baking bread.
Okay. Yeah.
That's the latest photo. Yeah. It's better than the last one. She goes, it's getting better. So she's a little bit, and I noticed on social media and stuff too, she's kind of dropped off. Like, she still posts things,
but not as much. You're right.
No, there was a time where she would respond to people. She'd like their stuff. She'd comment on it, and then she's really kind of gone like within herself and just stopped. Obviously for reasons that no one knows about, but so I don't know what has triggered that, but
I think
she didn't respond the last 2 years to my birthday tweet the year before, the Amy, the one that you helped me with.
Yeah.
Yeah, she never acknowledged it, and I was so proud of it. Yeah.
I think Sarah
And I know
White.
she's and she's probably busier. Like she's busier than most people I know.
Uh-huh.
And now that her and Ben have got their own production company, she's probably even busier again.
Sounds like a lot of them.
Well, maybe not right now.
Well, they sound like looks like I've seen quite a few people posting like they're doing readings and stuff with each other on Zoom. So they're still working on like their scripts and stuff, and they're meeting. So there might be a lot of that going on, but I mean, I can tell you, I've kind of similarly, when you can only imagine, she has two kids, and when you're trying to do the homeschool, the learning part that they have to do, plus you're doing your own work stuff as it comes up, plus, you know, we're all in the house 24/7 now. So the house is like constantly, there's always something to do. So even though you can't get out, it's like, and it just, yeah, it does get to the point where you just like, okay, we're just.
You know, they're doing rehearsals for the Bleeding Tree, but I'm not quite sure why, because it's not happening until next year now. But obviously they're doing it now while they can, because originally I was meant to be going over in May, meant to be going over to Tassie to see it, but not anymore. And it's been postponed. She put a post up, a post came up via the production company, and it said 2021. But the Theatre Royale in Tasmania, they credited my money back. And I was like, why? I didn't get a chance to ask them because the call was really quick. They obviously have plenty of people to ring. Because on their website, it says it's postponed and to hang on to your tickets for when the dates come up. And I'm like, but you've given me my money back. Is it because I live in WA and you think I might not be able to get over there? I don't know. But anyway, I was going to donate my ticket money back, but they didn't even give me the opportunity to do that. So I was like, oh, well.
Oh, dear.
So hopefully next year I'll get to go and see it still.
I'm going to sign off. I'm going to take Zoe.
I'm going to draw it to a close, ladies, because we're coming up for the 2-hour slot, and I got other things to do as well. So it's really lovely talking to you, especially you, Nat, staying up late and the time with us.
Very late.
Yeah, but you know,
That's right.
it's great to hear from
It's
you.
only me and the dog. I don't need to get up for anyone else.
Yeah,
where to be.
Except in my bed, yeah.
Laura.
I'll see you guys. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Right. Well, hope we do it again soon.
Sounds good.
Okay. Yeah. So
can't guarantee I'll be here, but yeah, it'd be good.
What are you even going to do with the recording?
I don't know. Who asked me to record it?
It was Brenda, right? Was that Brenda, I think, said that?
Do you,
Brenda?
no, well, you know, I don't know where it's going. It's recorded somewhere, but I don't know. If somebody wants to see it, I can let them have it. But it's easy. It's nicer to chat in person, isn't it? So, right. Keep your eyes open for the next one, I suppose. Maybe, I don't know if any of you are going to the one on Saturday with the Australian bunch. I might try and get along to that as well. So.
All right. Maybe I'll see you there.
Maybe I will. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Right. Great to see you guys. You take care.
Thank you.
And get a good night's sleep now, Nat.
I will. Enjoy your day.
You take care.
Bye. All right.
Bye. All right. Bye now.